Holistic Giants is a series that highlights holistic health practitioners, doctors, naturopaths, herbalists, and others. They heal, eradicate disease, or restore the body using natural modalities, herbs, or nutrition. Most of these healers have personally touched my life. Some I have interviewed, others I have studied their protocols of healing or natural modalities.
Dr. Paul Goss, naturopath, master iridologist, herbalist, educator, author, and community activist. When I attended his seminars in Los Angeles, it added to my repertoire of knowledge and touched my life. He is so humble. You have to be very quiet in his presence to hear his voice. New Body Products was the first herbal company that I became a distributor with in my quest for knowledge on herbs. I must give credit to the late Carl Nelson and KJLH for this interview.
If you get up in the morning, you get a good glass of water. In most cases, all the other kind of cravings go away. Because whenever the body, is asking for anything, especially in the way of thirst, it's really asking for water. And then, a good glass of juice or some fruit would be good, to start the day off.
Dr. Paul Goss, the most important product do you think of vitamin that one should take is, do we really need vitamins, or can we exist without them and be healthy?
We need them. We can mostly get them through the foods that we eat. That's if we, choose those particular foods, that have it in it. Or maybe I just should say if we eat food, because some things, we consume is not really food. Normally if you're eating fruits and vegetables, you're going to get all the vitamins and minerals that you need.
Now, you're totally against eating meat.
Definitely so.
Including fish?
Including fish.
Why?
Well, I think that if a person would take the best fish that they might have on the market, we ran some demonstrations, one time just to prove a point. And we took some of the best fish that they're supposed to be on the market, even those that are not scavengers. And just by letting it sit out, for 10 or 15 minutes, we were able to separate what appeared to be veins that turned out to be worms. And
in the fish?
In the fish. And fish will have the biggest tapeworms. They, according to the encyclopedia, they can grow anywhere to be 60 feet long in one body.
Wow. What about shrimps and scallops and other types of seafood?
Yeah, that's still in the same class.
Do they have worms as well?
Of course. They are actually the scavengers of the sea.
Because a lot of people say, well, I don't eat red meat, and they think it's a real good improvement. They eat chicken and they still eat turkey and they eat fish. They really haven't made a whole lot of improvement then on their diet, according to you then.
Not really. I think that, actually fish and chicken could be in the same class with chitlin. I know that's going a little far, but... this whole thing about our diet, the when we were brought here, I guess, and I know my parents, when I told them I didn't want to eat any more pork, and this is a long, long time ago, they were like, well, it was good for me, and I survived it, and look at me, and da-da-da, and you eat it all now. Why all of a sudden, they thought I was changing, and why all of a sudden that it was sort of a staple, the pig that is, for our people, and now we're coming to find out that that's probably the cause of our problems, our health problems. Yeah, basically, when you look at the blood pressure problems, that we have, they got to be coming from someplace. And, all you have to do is just stop eating certain things to find out if this is what's causing the problem. And, your body will tell you, what's going on. And a lot of times when they talk about, not eating red meat, well, if you really want to look at it, pork's not red meat either.
Yes, it is. What about those folks who like to say they have their meat well done? Because, some people like it rare. They like the blood dripping from it. I know you got to clear your throat on that one. Other people, I say, well, at least I have it well done, well cooked at, high temperatures. Does that still affect the worms?
No, the worms actually have a way of refrigerating themselves. It's like a snail that goes across the driveway, in the summertime when it's hot. You notice that there's a little trail that it leaves. What's actually happening, the worm is crawling on top of the film or the mucousy type stuff that it lets out, and this keeps it cool from getting, burned by the hot concrete. And that same solution is what worms use, when, you put heat to it, the worm puts off a solution, crawls inside of the solution, and then by the time the heat is
dissipated, then the worm crawls out of the solution, but by this time you've already digested it.
Now, how do the worms get into the meat in the first place? How do they get into the cattle or the chicken or into the seafood? How do they do that?
Well, that could be, any number of different ways, and mostly it's because of the things that they're being fed. In some cases, in most cases, dead carcasses is being fed back to the animal. And this is actually a violation against nature because your cows, your sheep, we're talking about an animal that is a vegetarian. And then when you violate nature, you feed the animal back to the animal, then naturally, you're going to get the decaying process which causes worms. And then now the animal itself has more worms, even that it already had because of its diet that they're feeding it. And then this is the way we get it, through that process.
And the cycle continues, and it lives. What does it do when it's inside our body? Where does it live, and does it just stay there, and does it cause any problems?
Yes, it does. It basically lives in mucus, and the more mucus that we consume into our system, the more these worms are going to have.
I hear you talk about mucus a lot. I mean, the only mucus that I can think of is like nasal congestion or something like that. You mean you've got mucus in other parts of the body?
Sure. It's the same as the nasal congestion. It's just that, when the body gets overloaded, it has to go someplace. And then basically, most of the time, it'll end up in our head. Once the lungs, can stay full of it, it would be better to have it in your lungs than any place else if you're just going to have it there. Because you can expel it from the lungs a lot easier than you can any other place in the body.
So what causes the mucus, though?
Usually the sugar, the meat, and the dairy products, can do it. And in most cases, bread.
Bread?
Bread.
So you don't eat bread either?
That's something, maybe about 4 or 5 times a year.
You're looking good. I don't know how old you are, but you're looking real good. People who are vegetarians, I should say, are less calmer or less hyper than their meat eaters.
That's true. You can see that no matter where you go throughout the globe. Is that when a person changes their diet, from a meat-eating diet to a vegetarian diet, they calm down immediately.
I know last time you were here, you said you can look into a person's eyes and tell exactly what's wrong with them. How does that work?
Well, it's called iridology or iris analysis. And the certain lines and markings, colors in the eyes, tell something, at least what's going on in the system itself. And in most
an
cases,
example.
Well, it could be anywhere, anything from, say, the common cold to cancer, broken leg.
Now, you can look at a person's eyes and tell, you can look at their eyes and tell if they're pregnant, they got a broken leg, or they got cancer, just by looking at their eyes?
Just by looking into the eyes.
Or what do you see that I don't see when I look in the mirror and look at my eyes?
See what happens looking into the eye. I don't just look directly into the eyes like we would be looking at each other now. I use an instrument, the same as, the eye doctor would use.
Right.
And this makes the eyes big enough, so that I can get a better picture of those lines and things that accumulate.
So what do you, well, I'm trying to get, what do you see? Do you see something moving, or what is it that you see?
It's not moving. It's just that the designs in the eye, should be in one uniform position. And when that changes, then that lets me know that that change had something to do with something inside the body that was changing. And, careful study of it, you know exactly what part of the body, is making that change. If it's cancer, the difference in the colorations that is in that part of the body. And the entire body itself, it's like the top of the eye, you say it's like the head, and then it moves down to the bottom of the body, which is the feet. And then everything else there in between. And these designs and things tell you what's going on.
Dr. Sebi, pathologist, biochemist, educator, herbalist, naturalist, extraordinary holistic healer. When I attended his seminars in Los Angeles, he was so funny and entertaining. When he passed away in 2016, I wrote an article on his life in several local news publications in San Diego, one of them being The Monitor, and hosted a video of his life on my website, Holistic Health Talk, for the entire year. I must give credit to Chime Edwards. who created and narrated this video clip.
Dr. Sebi was born Alfredo Bowman in a village in Spanish Honduras. He never had any formal schooling. He was self-educated. After coming to the United States, he was diagnosed with asthma, diabetes, impotency, and obesity. After unsuccessful treatments with conventional doctors and traditional Western medicine, Sebi was led to an herbalist in Mexico.
So he told me that I could not eat meat any longer, no lamb. I could not drink any milk. And I abstained from all these things, and here I am now at 82. I'm happier than I've ever been in my life.
After being healed from his conditions, he began studying and cataloging herbs around the world. As a result, he created natural vegetation cell food compounds that he claimed would cure people from diseases like herpes and AIDS.
The first patient was a brother in Boston named Michael White. I said, well, I must tell him the compound. I removed from the man's diet lactose, uric acid, and carbonic acid, milk, starches, and meat. By removing these things from his diet and then cleansing his cells, he began to see recovery in 24 hours. When I told my mama that I had cured my 13 AIDS patient, she said, they're gonna get you.
In the 1980s, Dr. Sebi ran a variety of ads stating that his institute cured AIDS, sickle cell, lupus, blindness, herpes, cancer, and other incurable diseases. The ad caught the eye of the Food and Drug Administration, and they sued Dr. Sebi for false advertisement and practicing without a license.
You defended yourself.
Of course I did. I knew that I had sufficient evidence to prove my position.
During the trial, the judge requested Dr. Sebi provide one witness for each disease that he claimed he cured. Each witness had to bring documentation that showed they had a disease from one doctor and documentation that they no longer had the disease from a separate doctor. Dr. Sebi was able to provide over 70 witnesses. He was not taken to court to prove he cured AIDS, but many say he still did so within this trial because his witnesses presented verified medical documents proving they had been healed after they said they sought Sebi's help. After hours of questioning and testing Dr. Sebi's compounds, he was found not guilty because his products were essentially food and he was not diagnosing patients. Dr. Sebi took on the Attorney General and won.
Not only did I prove scientifically, but I had the diagnostic sheets, and I do have them today. And those diagnostic sheets didn't come from me. They came from their school, their American accredited medical accredited school.
When you look at the court documents, it says Dr. Sebi, Alfredo Bowman, which is my father, my aunt Bowman, and Fig Tree Products. That's what was proven in court. You know what I mean? That's what won court. They sent that to Lancaster Laboratories, and it was proven as electric cell food. That's why if you look at the fig tree, we call it electric cell food. That's what's been proven in court.
How did Dr. Sebi say he was healing people of these incurable diseases? The basis behind his approach is cleaning the body of excess mucus, which is believed to be the root of all disease. Sebi stated, "Our research reveals that all manifestation of disease finds its genesis when mucous membrane has been compromised. For example, if there is excess mucus in the bronchial tubes, the disease is bronchitis. In the joints, arthritis." Basically, he believed disease will arise in the body when there is an overaccumulation of this stagnant toxin. He said acid creates toxic mucus and congests the system, leading to inflammation. Sebi preached an alkaline diet will do the opposite and support vitality.
My approach is an intracellular cleansing. You have people eating hog, potatoes, rice, and beans. But if we take this substance to a biochemist, he's not going to find any food in any of these substances.
How I found out that black people should be vegetarians, because when I begin to remove you from that meat and that stuff, that grease, you begin to say in 1 week, how the pain that you had for years begin to disappear.
His family claims for 30 years he reversed a range of incurable ailments using his compounds and his nutritional approach. He also claimed to cure blindness. He shared this story during one of his speeches.
Young man, I said, yes, sir. I heard that you've been experimenting with herbs. He said, yes. Well, I'm blind. I'm blind for 10, 11 years. Could you help me? I said, I'll try. If you make me see, I give you $1 million. I gave the man the substance. When am I going to see? I said, by Friday. Now, why did I select Friday until this day? I don't know. But I was so sure of myself. But how could a boy that didn't go to school be so sure of himself? The man went home with the medicine. And the Wednesday, good morning, young man. I raised my right hand. You say you raise your right hand. I winked my left eye. You say you wink your left eye. I said, the man is seeing. At that point of my journey, I couldn't explain that. I know it's a bunch of herbs that cleanse the man's body, but they were all alkali plants.
He also said he was able to heal people of mental illness, something he himself struggled with.
I became very sick. I was angry. I want to blow my brains out. I want to kill my wife. And she was the sweetest woman in the world. Why I want to kill her? Because I was sick. You could be offering and deploying things that are hurtful to others and you're totally unaware.
Every disease begins right here. I mean right here. I don't care if you're blind or if you're insane. It's right here. That acid state influences the brain and the central nervous system. It changes the image in your eyes. You do not see with your eyes. Your eyes is only the lens that the brain looks through. What the brain sees is what you're gonna see. I had a lady from Mexico, and that lady would say, no, don't let them take me, no. And there was nobody there. I made an extract from the Cascara Sagrada. She said that when she went to the bathroom upon taking the Cascara Sagrada extract, she looked in the commode and she saw some berries that she ate 12 years prior. They were lodged and they became molded and sent off that negative message. Again, the mucous membrane in the intestine were compromised. She no longer crazy.
His wife Ma'a gave him the name Sebi, and locals began calling him doctor after they saw him heal fatal illnesses.
There was a little boy that was dying. It was his spleen, but nobody knew it was his spleen, and he laid there, and he was like 5 years old. This is Dominica again. Mm-hmm. And so he was laying there, and he could hardly walk. And the doctors had said he was going to die. And so we gave him the herbs, and he was up and around. When people are healed, everybody is Dr. Sebi, Dr. Sebi.
Because of the act that he's performing, you're helping someone to achieve wellness. And so in that act, one identifies it with a doctor. So they begin to call him that.
Dr. Sebi not only wanted to heal people of their ailments, he also wanted everyone to truly love themselves.
He brought more than just, okay, take these herbs and you're healed. You felt what you feel when you listen to Sebi. You feel good about yourself and you feel strong. And it was the healing of the nation. It is the healing of the nation because that's the other part of the healing, for us to have that self-worth, that self-confidence.
The love that's going to secure you through life is the love that you offer yourself. These are the things that we need to cultivate, not the dependency of another. Why should you be dependent on me for love? On yourself. That love that you have for you, that love would never die.
Dr. Sebi created Usha Healing Village, where hundreds of people have traveled to receive healing of their ailments. This village is located in Honduras, Central America, and is named after one of his oldest daughters.
The Usha Village was opened right after the court case. You know, my father had his court case in 1988, and then right after that, we went out there, my mother, my father, the whole family, and he founded the Usha Village, and we didn't take out loans for that. That was funded directly out of his pocket, out of the Fig Tree's pocket. No, we're not involved in the Usha Village at all. That's something that's definitely important to clarify to people, because that's being ran by my father's ex-business partners, which reside out in Los Angeles, which operate, different entity.
Dr. Sebi's work was well respected in entertainment circles, with clients including the late Lisa Left Eye Lopez, John Travolta, Eddie Murphy, Michael Jackson, and Nipsey Hussle.
I take his products for sure. I'm working on doing a documentary on the trial in 1985.
How did Lisa Left-Eye Lopez discover Dr. Sebi?
You know, I just could not believe that there was not a cure for, I don't care what disease, especially AIDS. I could not believe it. And about a week later, I was in the studio talking to a producer friend of mine named Michael Anthony, and he just decided to tell me about a man that he knew who had the cure, and that man was Dr. Sebi.
Lisa traveled to the Usha village in Honduras and later shared her story with MTV.
In the tiny village, Lisa sought guidance for body and soul from an herbal guru named Dr. Sebi.
Dr. Sebi, according to him, can cure anything. Everything from trying to lose weight to, looking for a cure for AIDS. People go there with hopes and dreams that Dr. Sebi can somehow save them.
She had been through so many intense problems in her career and in her life and in her personal life that she didn't know where to turn. And this doctor, she said, had shown her how to really open up and cleanse all of the negativity out of her.
She told me she was suffering with alcoholism and that she was smoking excessively, cigarettes, drinking and smoking. She asked me, what do I need to do to stay on the side of peace? I said, fast, do what Jesus did. She said, what did Jesus do? He fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. At the ending of the fasting, she came to me. I heard the door opening at 2 o'clock in the morning. She said, I completed my fast this morning. I said, what did you see? I saw God. She said, I'm going to make you famous. I said, how? Because I'm going to talk about you. Does everyone know you cure AIDS and cancer?
There's just a lot of people in the world who are suffering. They're sick. They're not happy. They're looking for answers. They don't know where to turn. Well, I know a man who's been curing AIDS since 1987. This guy has taught me a lot, and I need to share my knowledge, with the world.
Sebi faced many trials towards the end of his life, but the controversy didn't overshadow the voices of those proclaiming he healed them.
I was diagnosed first with colon cancer, then it had metastasized and become leukemia. And 3 months after that, I had been diagnosed with an astrocytoma brain tumor that was inoperable. At that point, the doctors in the U.S. gave me 6 months to live, 120 days after getting here. I no longer had leukemia. The headache stopped within 30 to 60 days. I lost a total of 102 pounds.
I was having brain fog and fatigue, a lot of fatigue. My memory wasn't really good. And acne, breaking out on my face and different eczema and stuff like that. And then I took the cell cleansers, and 2 days later I woke up and my mind was so clear. And I could even tell a difference in my skin, the way my skin looked. It was amazing.
My sister was diagnosed with lupus. My sister wasn't going to make it to the end of the year, and we was in September. Sent her a package of one of his my interbody chelation remedies. And 3 months later, my sister's driving her kids to school.
From one package?
He sent her a package once a month.
I was really going through it. No oxygen, chronic severe respiratory diseases. I was living on 13 breathing treatments a day. I started cleansing. I had mucus coming out from everywhere. That first week I was spitting up mucus a lot. Immediately I got off medication. As soon as I started, I got off medication. I removed the diseases successfully, completely. I haven't taken not even Advil. I haven't taken no type of medication whatsoever.
Sebi was viewed as a healer to some and a fraud to others. His family says his sole purpose was to bring self-love and wellness to the world.
He was about light and love. This journey is about light and love, and
above all,
above all, and healing, a healing for the nation.
Sebi was a self-proclaimed pathologist, herbalist, and naturalist. His supporters say his mission was to heal through holistic health, body, mind, and spirit.
The one thing you want to do is to love. And that love should begin with you. Once you love you, you love the whole world. It's easy. It's delicious to love everybody and everything.